Hello all, this is Professor Inbaraj. Today I'll be introducing you to listening skills. So I'll be taking you into listening. What is listening? What are the types of listening? And the difference between hearing and listening, and importance of listening, and some of the techniques that you should use, that you can use to develop your listening skills. So all these things I'll be covering in this lecture. To start with, what is listening? See, listening is the ability to pay attention to and effectively interpret what is being said in a communication process. And the what is listening? It is the process of receiving information, constructing meaning from what you hear, and responding to spoken messages. Listening is to hear something with thoughtful attention. And the process of listening involves receiving the information, understanding it, remembering, evaluating what you have received, and finally responding back in a communication process. This is the process of listening. And see, always remember, listening comes first. See, it is the first and foremost communication skill that we pick up in our life. See, it is the primordial skill that we develop when we were born. See, for instance, see, when a child is born, see, the first skill that a child picks up is listening. See, and see, it takes around 2 to 3 years for a child to pronounce a syllable, to speak a word. And in these 2 years, these first to 2, 3 years, we can call it a period of silent listening. So during these first 3 years, 2 to 3 years, the child listens to what is being spoken around, what the child's parents speaks, the other people around the child speaks. So that is how the child listens and picks up a language, picks up that is particularly the mother tongue. See, this is the difference between acquiring a language and learning a language. This is very important. There is a difference between acquisition of a language and learning a language. See, acquisition of a language happens naturally through listening. And learning a language, learning grammar, learning syntax, semantics, all those things comes under learning. So this is the difference between listening, acquiring a language, and learning a language. And listening plays a major role in the acquisition of a language. See, without listening, you can't speak, and without reading, you can't write. This is very important. And see, as there is difference between acquisition of a language and learning a language, there is difference between hearing and listening. See, hearing is the act of simply perceiving sound by ear. See, it is a natural inborn trait that one gets when one is born. It comes with us naturally. Whereas listening is an action where you choose to actively concentrate on what is being said, what is being told to you. See, hearing occurs with or without your consent. It's an unconscious activity. But listening needs a conscious effort. You need to put in conscious effort to listen to what is being said. In listening, see, your brain transform it. It processes the information that you get into knowledge. See, whereas in hearing, you just hear whatever. For instance, you see rotation of a fan, breezing of wind. All these comes under hearing. But in listening, you process the information that you get into knowledge. And see, what are listening skills? See, listening skills are the ways that help you to listen to something more effectively. See, listening skills help you to improve your listening process. It makes you to, those are skills that helps you to listen more effectively. And what are the importance of listening skills? See, these skills, listening skills makes in listening, the importance of listening skills are: an attentive listener stimulates better speaking by the speaker. So if you listen attentively, it boosts up the morale of the speaker to give in more input, to give in more information with confidence, with more clarity. And a good listener learns more than an ordinary listener. See, a good listener, see, he concentrates on what is actively concentrates on what is being taught, what is being spoken. See, and he acquires, he learns everything not only through verbal mode through non-verbal mode, through the body language of the speaker, what the posture of the speaker conveys, through as well as the verbal mode. And a good listener learns to detect prejudices, assumptions, and attitudes in a speaker. So the speaker might have some prejudices, prejudgmental notion about some issue, and he might have been talking about that in that. And many speakers could be speaking without substantiation, without assumptions, and the attitude of the speaker towards a particular subject may be negative. So, see, a speaker can use his speeches as hate speeches to propagate false propaganda too. So, a good listener, importance of listening skills. See, listening skills help you to identify all these, detect all these prejudices, assumptions, and attitudes in a speaker and in the speaker's content. So also communication is not complete without effective listening. Your communication process completes when you listen effectively so that you learn something. And there are different types of listening, but I have narrowed it down to three types that would help you to develop your listening skills, the sets of listening skills. And the three types that you need to follow are: first one is attentive or active listening, and second one is critical listening, and the third one is empathetical listening. So active listening is the process by which an individual secures, gains, gets an information from an individual or a group in a listening process, and through listening carefully. And see, active listening involves paying attention to what is being said and not interrupting until the speaker finishes his speech, and then you ask questions to clarify your doubts. So that is active listening. And see, active listening, it requires the careful attention, the full concentration of the listener to concentrate, understand, and respond. And also remember, you should take back some information, new information, when the process of listening overs. So remember what is being said in the listening process. And see, there are verbal signs and non-verbal signs of active listening. The signs that the listener exhibits while listening, and these signs we cannot can't be found in everyone, but these signs are usually mostly found uh, in the active listening process. So first sign of non-verbal sign of active listening is smile. See, smiling when you listen to something, see, it denotes that you are actually concentrating on what is being spoken, right? The speaker would get confidence that, okay, for this person smiles at me, that means he's following what I am speaking. And when you add a nod with a smile when you listen, see, gives it completely gives the suggestion that the listener listens very actively. And see, making eye contact in the listening process while listening is very important. See, when you keep eye contact with the speaker understands that you are following the content, as well as you can get the most out of what is being spoken to. And be careful. See, your eye contact shouldn't be intimidating. Okay, you should have a positive, reinforcing eye contact towards the speaker. And the posture, see how you sit, the posture that you maintain in a listening process denotes many things. You shouldn't have a careless, a carefree posture when you are listening. See, in a classroom, in a lecture, in a seminar, or in a meeting, even in a meeting, your posture denotes many things. So you should have a positive posture when you listen. And see, you can slightly lean forward and or slightly sit sideways while you listen. That gives you a positive, confident posture as you listen. And the fourth sign of non-verbal listening, see, is to avoid distractions. See, fidgeting with your pen or looking at the clock or watch to see the time. See, looking at the watch or clock when you're in a listening process, see, that would very demotivate the speaker, right? So never do that. Let the speaker go through his lecture or talk, and then so avoid this looking at the watch or clock. Don't play with your hair. Don't bite your nails. So avoiding these distractions is again non-verbal signs of active listening. And there are verbal signs of active listening. For instance, you can use positive reinforcement as the speaker speaks. You can use words and phrases like yes, of course, good, indeed. You can use all these words to give a positive support to the speaker as the speaker speaks. Okay, and you can questioning is another verbal sign of active listening. Questioning means that you have listened to what is being spoken, what is being taught to you. So it shows that you have been paying attention by asking relevant question and clarifications. Again, clarification is again similar to questioning, and it also shows that so you are clarifying your doubt, so you have actively listened. Okay, and the second type of listening is critical listening. See, critical listening is the next step of active listening. See, in critical listening, critical listening is a process for understanding what is said, and it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop with understanding. So you evaluate what is being spoken to you. You evaluate what you are listening, you judge what you are listening, and you form an opinion on what you hear. Okay, see, the listener in the critical listening process, you see, he assesses the strengths and weakness of the content that is being delivered, and agrees and disagrees with the information, and also the listener analyzes and synthesizes the content material, that is what is being given to you, spoken to you. So critical listening involves systematic reasoning and careful thought, using systematic reasoning and careful thought to analyze in a speaker's message what is fact and what is opinion, what are facts, what are opinions. See, a speech would definitely have factual content and opinion. So see, using critical listening, you can bifurcate or you can segregate what are facts that the speaker is speaking and what are the opinions that comes from him. Okay, and where do we use critical? See, we usually use critical listening in situations when speakers may have some hidden agendas in their talks, in their speech, or hidden goals. Like for instance, while listening to political debates, or listening to debate in TV, listening to when you go for a purchase, while a salesperson is pitching to sell a product to you. See, all these kind of situations, in these kind of situations, the speaker has some hidden agenda. See, when you go for a purchase shopping, the salesperson's hidden agenda is somehow sell you the project. Okay, so critical listening helps you to identify all these kinds of hidden agendas. Okay, and see, the third type of listening that you have to develop to improve your listening capacity is listening empathetic listening. See, empathetic listening, or also called as therapeutic listening. Okay, therapeutic listening is useful to help you see from other people's perspectives. See, you put yourself in the shoes of others and you think with them. You think, you feel with them, you think with them. That is what is called, you listen with them. That is what you listen to them. That is what is called empathetic listening. See, instead of just focusing on the content that is being spoken to you, okay, that is being said to you, you can use empathetic listening to relate to that person's experience, the person who is speaking to you, that person's experience, as if it is your, as if those experiences are your own. Okay, so this is what you put yourself in the shoes of the other person and listen to the other person. It is simply just being empathetic while listening. Okay, and for instances of empathetic listening, you listen to your friend's problem. You patiently listen to your friend's problem. That is again a kind of empathetic listening. See, empathetic listening is allowing a friend, colleague, or a family member to discuss their problem. It's an instance of empathetic listening. And see, empathetic listening involves supportive non-verbal cues such as nodding, maintaining eye contact, in addition to emphasizing with their experience. And now we have come into an important section, that is barriers to listening. See, there are certain barriers that we all know that is there to listening. First one is physiological barriers. The physiological means physiological barriers. That is, first one is hearing impairment. See, obviously, if you have problem with hearing, if you can't hear, if you can't hear, you obviously can't listen, right? So if the person is dumb, deaf, the person can't listen. So hearing impairment. Second physiological barrier is speaking thinking rate. See, the speaker may be speaking with in a rate, and see, you would be thinking in some other rates. The speaking would be bombarding you with high-fi information. I mean, big informations, intellectual information, but you may not have that capacity to understand, competency to understand what the speaker is speaking. That is the speaking thinking rate barrier. And the second type of barriers is environment barrier, that is physical distraction. These sounds that you hear from outside classrooms, disturbances from your friends speaking in the classroom. So all these are physical distractions. And second environmental barrier is message getting overload. That is the speaker bombarding you, filling you with, incepting you with messages, that is getting overload, more messages. So the speaker has to know the limit of his content. Okay. And another set of barriers to listening are attitudinal barrier. First one is, in attitudinal, first one is prejudice. See, you have prejudice about the speaker or about the content that is being spoken. And second one is preoccupation. You are preoccupied with something else, some other, we call it stream of consciousness. See, you get into a stream of you think about something else, you are preoccupied with something else, and you don't concentrate on what is being spoken to you. And the third attitudinal barrier to listening is having a casual attitude. You don't maintain you don't want to learn anything from them. Your attitude speaks for you. So you should have an attentive attitude. So that is, again, if you don't have an attentive attitude, it's an attitudinal barrier to listening. And the fourth attitudinal barrier is egocentrism, being egocentric. See, thinking that what this speaker is going to speak. Okay. See, I know everything. That kind of ego you should never have. Okay. So you shouldn't be egocentric. So being egocentric is again an attitudinal barrier to listening. And another sets of barrier are poor listening habits. You faking attention, listening only for facts, avoiding difficult and uninteresting materials, or again poor listening habits. Okay. So how to improve your listening skills? See, there are certain techniques to improve your listening skills. First one is, you try to apply these techniques in your listening process, and you will definitely see the improvement in your listening capacity. First technique is, see, focusing on key points, what is being said, understanding what is being said. And second one is being aware of both the verbal as well as the non-verbal messages that is being given. And so you listen with an open mind. Okay, you shouldn't have the prejudice, attitudinal barriers, or you shouldn't be egocentric. You should keep your mind open, okay, to listen to what is being for, so that you can learn something new. And see, avoid false intention and pretense leading. That will never do you any good, and you will never learn anything if you are always pretending to listen and giving false attention. Use the time given to learn something new through listening. Okay. And wait for the speaker to pause and to ask clarification. And see, you don't interrupt the speaker while he is speaking. So you wait for the session to get over, and then you can ask your clarification questions once in the given allotted time. Okay. And be attentive, be relaxed, and be a whole body listener. What does it mean? See, you don't just listen with your ears, so you listen with your whole body. Okay. You maintain a good posture, you maintain good eye contact, you give positive reinforcement, both verbal and non-verbal reinforcement. Okay. And So how to be an effective listener then? So when you listen, be silent, stop talking, show interest. You show some interest to learn something. Empathize. You empathize with the speaker, ask question, maintain eye contact, take notes, send feedback, and avoid distractions. So okay, so these are the effective techniques you follow to be an effective listener. So today I have introduced you to listening skills, which is one of the important skills in the LSRW that you have to develop, and I have also introduced you to types of listening, importance of listening skills, active, passive, active listening, critical listening, and empathetic listening, verbal and non-verbal signs of active listening, and techniques to improve your listening skills. Okay, so if you have any doubt, do ask your questions in the comment section. I'll get back to you. Thank you. Thank you so much.